All right, good afternoon. My name is Adam Sanders.
My name is Eric Teggermenjian.
And we have the pleasure of talking to you today about AP United States government and politics. The first question that people are going to talk about is, well, what is that? Well, simply, it's a way to be able to go more in depth and be able to teach our students not just the basics of civics and economics and how our government works, but the details. So, for example, with the executive branch, they're going to learn that it's more than just the president and the vice president, but we're going to get into the details of checks and balances and what do all the different departments do and how does the Secretary of State work within a much bigger department, and how the FBI and CIA are executive agencies and what they actually do on a day-to-day basis. It's a tremendous course that kids can really learn a lot of real-life application that can help them be a better citizen in today's not only world but political climate.
And one of the biggest goals for us in AP Gov is to get the kids ready for college. And one of the main things we practice or want to get through to them is read the book, practice taking notes with the book, we have discussions in class, opinions are thrown around, we respect each other's opinions. But that's a big starting point for us in AP Gov.
So is the presentation slanted? Like, do you have to be one side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle, or is all opinions accepted here in class?
Well, all opinions are accepted in class, of course.
That's right, and that's really the main point. We want to be able to have anybody be able to get whatever opinion they want. We just want them to be able to support that opinion when they're in class. So one more question, is it two separate courses or is it a year-long course? I've heard both.
Well, I can see why there's some confusion because you're taking two separate classes, but we have them for the whole year. So the first semester you take civics and economics, and you have to take the state test for civics and economics, and then second semester is AP Gov. But we're lucky enough that we have the kids all year, so it almost feels like one class, and we get to know the students more in depth. We can, form better relationships with the students, and I think that it really pays off in the long run for them for the AP test, as well as just kind of feeling the rigor of what it's like for AP class all year.
Speaking of rigor, one of the examples that we use when we do have, since we do have them all year, and there is a lot of advantages to that, is we'll kind of treat it like a car's transmission. During first quarter, we're in first gear. We're going to ease them into it. In the second quarter, we're going to get a little harder. We're going to start to make it feel more like an AP class. Third quarter of the year, once you hit second semester, it does get a little faster. We're up on the highway for a little bit, and we're doing a lot of AP level work. They're reading the chapter on their own, and they've got to do a lot of vocab assignments, and it really is trying to get them ready to fourth quarter. And then when you hit the fourth quarter, we're on the interstate, the car's in fourth gear, and we're moving pretty quick. But the good thing about it being year long and being in those two separate courses is we're able to prepare them for it. We get to teach them every step of the way, and they're fully prepared, and they can handle that more workload. And we've been really impressed with how well our kids have already done this year.
What kind of things are we going to be doing for AP work? What do we get?
That's a great question. So one of the things that we love to do is something that we like to call opinion corners, and we're going to give the kids a statement, and they're going to have to give their own opinion on should businesses be able to donate unlimited amounts of sums of money to a campaign. And then what they do is they have to write their own opinion so they're not swayed by their peers, and then get in different corners of the room, whether they strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree with that statement. And then as a group, they're going to collectively talk about, well, we believe this, but why do you believe that? And it's a great way for kids to have their own opinions, but then express it with one another in a big classroom setting in which all opinions are valued and they're respected. And it's been a great teaching tool, and the kids really enjoy it. And it's shocking how much kids can struggle public speaking, and then by the end of the year, and once we do a handful of these, they're getting a lot more comfortable in it. And this environment lends itself to these kids really learning some of those soft skills.
Another great thing that we like to do is current event Mondays. One of the challenges with any kind of government class, there's so much going on every day in politics, and we need to get them to learn and take all that in, but also cover the information that we have to cover. So what we like to do is we give them different topics to cover for the month. What's policies does the president have going on? This past year with the election, we had a lot of different election topics. And we put them in groups, and they get to research different newspapers, different magazines, and to learn what's going on in the world so they can be an informed citizen and make better choices, not only now, but in the future.
And we've really enjoyed having them present back to the class and what they've been able to figure out. And it's been a great way to kind of keep everybody up to speed on what's happening every day. So while we do have them on what happens on the day-to-day, we also need to go back throughout history. And one thing that we've learned is there are a ton of Supreme Court cases that our guys need to know for not only the AP exam, but to be productive citizens. And rather than doing them all in one unit where they get all the names and stories confused, we split it up. And so we do 2 different Supreme Court cases every Wednesday. and our students get to decide when they want to present. And so once a semester, they're going to present to the rest of the class on one of these Supreme Court cases about what happened, why it's important, and what's its lasting impact been. And it's been a great way to split it up, and again, let our guys take their own accountability and their own responsibility for presenting to the class. And when it fits their schedule, if they're busy in the fall, then they can put it off to the end of the semester, and it really has worked out really well.
Another wonderful assignment that we do is we have a big federalism project, and we do a good amount of projects in AP Gov. But one of the big themes in the AP test and in civics in general is the division of power between the federal government, the state governments, and local governments. And we try to really dive in depth with that because that's something that really is the basis for AP Gov in general and for our government as a whole. So they get a chance to look at different Supreme Court cases that we might have talked about previously on Supreme Court Wednesdays, and look at the Constitution and kind of say, okay, does this scenario in history, how did this play out? You know, did the federal government have with more power? Did the state government have with more power? And then they hopefully can apply that to things that are going on currently, you know, who's winning power, who has more power right now with the Department of Education, you know, and those sort of things. And again, it's just applying ideas from the past to things that happen every day in politics now. And hopefully that'll carry on into college, and it'll be an asset to them as they go forward.
Exactly. Now, also, there is an AP exam, and no students not to take it, but we recommend them take it. And one of the things that we prepare them throughout the year is some of their bigger, more in-depth multiple choice questions. And so that's just that's half of the AP exam, and so we're going to spend time preparing them for it. The other half is
FRQs, which is free response questions. There's, you know, they're very specific and detailed free response questions that can really be a challenge. But again, this is one of the benefits of having the students the whole year, is even though it's not technically AP in the fall, we can start working on these free response questions in September, and by the time May rolls around, you know, they've been working on these for, you know, 5, 6, 7 months, and that really is a big asset for the kids come AP time.
Exactly. And then once that AP exam is over, we're able to kind of gear back down a little bit and let them really go in depth on an actual campaign project where they get to take the things that they've learned and then put it into action. They get to pick a candidate, and they get to get in different political parties and have debates and run commercials, and have a couple people in each class be the media and cover them with interviews. And they really, really enjoy that, and that's one thing they're already looking forward to. So thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us, and look forward to seeing you next year. Thanks so much.
Thank you.